Okay, so picture this. You're about to go into a job interview for, like, your dream job.
Big moment.
Yeah, as a food technologist.
Yeah.
And it's a little nerve-wracking, right?
Oh, for sure. Totally.
Yeah, so today, we're basically giving you this, like, ultimate cheat sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to RoleCatcher's awesome career resources.
Yeah, it's like you've got this crystal ball, you get to see what the interviewer's thinking.
Exactly. And we're not talking just, like, general advice here.
Right.
We're diving into real interview questions.
Mm-hmm.
The kind that honestly can make or break your chances.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Are you ready to ditch the pre-interview jitters and, like, feel confident?
Let's do it.
Let's go! RoleCatcher starts with a classic. Describe your experience working with food additives and preservatives.
Okay, yeah.
Now, before you go and list every single ingredient you can think of,
Right, right.
remember, this is about showing what you know, not just, throwing out terms.
Yeah, you don't want to just hand someone a paintbrush and say, look, I'm an artist. Exactly.
You want to show them what you can do with it.
I love that.
It's about technique, understanding, Same thing here.
Yes. So instead of saying, oh, I've used, like, citric acid, think about a specific project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you had to make a bakery product last longer.
Right.
You could talk about how you chose a natural preservative like rosemary extract.
Okay.
And why it was the best choice for that.
And don't forget the why. Why did you make those choices?
Right.
Was it the flavor, cost, maybe even, like, were there ethical things about those additives?
Excellent point, showing you've thought about all that.
Mhm.
That shows a real understanding of the job. Right?
Absolutely.
Now, RoleCatcher also says interviewers often follow up with questions like, what were some of the challenges? Or how did your choices affect the final product?
Ah, see, those follow-up questions, those are key.
Yeah.
They're your chance to really show off your problem-solving skills and how you connect those scientific principles to the real world. That's it. Maybe you had some unexpected problems while you were developing something, like the texture changed or it tasted a bit off.
It happens.
This is where you tell them how you fixed it, the experiments you did, and how you ended up with a successful product.
And even if you didn't get it perfect every single time,
Right.
talking about what you learned, how you grew from those mistakes, that's super valuable.
Yeah, it shows you can adapt, that you're always learning, and that's what a good food technologist needs, right?
Exactly. Speaking of which, let's talk about another question RoleCatcher brings up.
Okay.
How do you ensure that food products meet quality and safety standards? This one's all about showing you're serious about those crucial parts of the food industry.
It's not enough to just say, I follow the rules, right?
Right.
You need to show them you understand why those rules exist and how you carefully apply them.
Exactly. This is where you bring in your knowledge of HACCP principles and food safety regulations.
Okay, yeah.
But don't just, recite regulations word for word.
Right. It's about painting a picture.
Yes. Let's say they ask about your experience with HACCP. Instead of just saying, oh, I'm HACCP certified, how about you talk about a time you spotted a potential hazard in a production process?
Right, yeah.
Explain how you analyzed the risk, what you did to control it, and how you made sure it worked.
So you're showing them, not just telling them that you're all about food safety. And if you do have certifications like HACCP or ISO 22000, this is the time to mention them.
Oh, for sure. Certifications are important, but those real-world examples, that's what makes your expertise come alive.
All right, now let's say you get a curveball. Describe a time you had to troubleshoot a problem in food production.
Okay.
Now, don't panic. This is where you shine as a problem solver.
RoleCatcher recommends using the STAR method for this one: situation, task, action, result.
Okay.
It's a storytelling framework to keep your answer clear and impactful.
Okay, I like that. So let's say you're working on a new drink formula and suddenly the color changes.
Okay.
That's your situation. Your task is to figure out what went wrong and fix it quickly.
Right, exactly. Action is where you lay out your detective work.
Okay.
Did you check the ingredients?
Yeah.
The equipment? Maybe you did some experiments to find the cause.
And then result. Did you save the day?
Right. Maybe you found a broken machine or tweaked something in the process and you prevented a big delay and kept the product consistent and high quality.
Even if the answer seems obvious afterward, walk them through your thought process.
Absolutely.
It's about showing how you think, how you analyze, especially under pressure.
Exactly.
And speaking of pressure, the food industry can be pretty demanding, right?
Oh, yeah.
So how would you answer this RoleCatcher question?
Right.
How do you prioritize when you've got deadlines and competing demands?
This is where you show off your organizational skills. Are you a to-do list master? Maybe you're a pro with project management software.
Yeah.
Whatever your method, be ready to explain how it keeps you on track, especially when you're juggling multiple projects.
But it's not just about listing techniques.
Right.
Give them a real example.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you use a fancy chart to coordinate a big product launch and make sure everyone met the deadlines?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you created a system to delegate tasks in your team to make everyone more efficient.
Those real examples, they make all the difference.
Totally.
It's not just saying, I'm organized, it's showing them, I've got this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you tailor your answers to specific job description.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks at keywords and skills in the job posting and helps you highlight the best parts of your experience.
That's amazing, like having a personal career coach right there in your pocket.
Right, helping you show your best self to potential employers.
That's fantastic.
Okay, let's take a little break here. We've covered a lot. Trust me, we've got more interview wisdom coming up. But for now, take a deep breath, let all this sink in, and get ready for the next round of questions when we come back. And we're back, ready to jump into more interview prep with these awesome insights from RoleCatcher.
You bet. We were talking about staying organized, right?
Yeah.
Perfect lead into this next question. How do you make sure those food labels are accurate, following all the industry standards?
Ah, yes, the whole nutrition label thing.
Right.
We've all been there at the grocery store staring at those labels, trying to figure them out.
Totally.
But for a food technologist, it's not just about reading it, it's knowing what goes into it.
Exactly. It's the regulations, the science behind it, even like the psychology of what makes a good label.
Right.
It's a lot more than people think.
RoleCatcher says interviewers are looking for more than just knowing the rules.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see that you really get why it's important.
It's like you could say, yeah, I know the labeling rules, no problem. But that's kind of blah,
Yeah. It's not very exciting.
Right. Give them an example. Bring it to life.
Okay, so let's say you're working on a new gluten-free cookie.
Okay, I like it.
You could talk about how you had to check every single ingredient really carefully, make sure it matched the FDA definition of gluten-free.
All right.
You could even talk about the specific rules for allergens, like making sure it clearly says contains wheat.
Right. That shows them you're not just checking boxes. You're really thinking about each detail to keep consumers safe.
And build that trust, too.
Exactly.
And the food industry never sits still, does it? New ingredients, new technology, always new regulations. It's hard to keep up.
It's true. It's constantly changing.
And that leads us to another RoleCatcher question. How do you stay updated on industry trends and all that?
This is where you show them how passionate you are, that you're always learning.
It's easy to say, oh, I read industry magazines.
Right.
But we want to stand out.
Exactly. Don't just list things you've read. Tell them about something specific that you learned recently that you found really cool.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Did you go to a webinar about sustainable packaging? Or read a study about lab-grown meat, something like that.
Yeah.
It shows them you're interested, not just going through the motions.
And speaking of staying ahead, RoleCatcher's AI can actually suggest professional development opportunities, like tailored to you,
Oh, wow.
based on your goals and the latest trends. It's like having a personalized career map.
That's amazing.
All right, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about consistency. How do you make sure those food products are always high quality?
This is where you get to show off that you're a bit of a perfectionist.
It's all about quality control, paying attention to the little things, keeping those standards high throughout the whole process.
Right, from start to finish?
You can say, I'm a stickler for details, but again, let's illustrate that, yeah.
100%. Use an example. Let's say you're making sure a fruit yogurt has that perfect color. Every time.
Okay.
You can talk about how you use a spectrophotometer. No more guessing, right? You're measuring it objectively. Every batch is uniform.
Or maybe you were improving the texture of bread. You could explain how you analyzed the gluten, adjusted the mixing time, maybe even did some taste tests to get that perfect airy texture.
Now we're talking. That's a delicious answer.
Speaking of delicious, let's talk new product development.
All right, yeah?
This is where food technologists get to be creative. So how would you answer this from RoleCatcher? What's your approach to new product development?
Show them your innovation, your market awareness, how you take an idea and make it a real product.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new idea.
For sure, for sure.
But RoleCatcher reminds us, successful development is about balancing that creativity with what people actually want.
You've got to know your market, the trends, do your research, make sure your product has a place.
So let's say you're creating a new plant-based burger.
Okay, yeah.
You could talk about testing different proteins, experimenting with flavors and textures, even doing taste tests with actual consumers to get feedback.
Don't forget to mention collaboration, too.
Oh, right.
It's rare that you develop something totally alone. Talk about working with marketing, sales, even the packaging designers.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
Exactly.
Okay, now for a question that sometimes throws people off, RoleCatcher calls it the crystal ball question. It often comes at the end of an interview. What do you think are the biggest challenges facing the food industry in the next, say, 5–10 years?
Okay, yeah, I've heard that one.
Don't worry, they don't expect you to predict the future perfectly.
Right.
It's more about showing you're thinking ahead, looking at the bigger picture.
That you're engaged with where the industry is going.
Exactly. It's like you're saying, I'm not just here for a job, I'm here for a career.
I like that. So what are some of those big challenges?
Well, sustainability is huge.
Absolutely.
Reducing food waste, finding new sources of protein.
Yeah, and climate change is a big one.
Right.
The weather's unpredictable, which affects how much food we can even grow.
And we can't forget about transparency. Right.
Huge.
People want to know where their food comes from, how it's made, what's in it.
Absolutely. And that's where being passionate about food technology really matters.
Yeah.
Are you excited about things like blockchain for traceability?
Right.
Or using AI to make food production more efficient, less wasteful?
So it's about connecting those big challenges to what you're interested in, what you want in your career.
It's like saying, I see these problems, I'm thinking about them, and I want to help solve them.
Exactly. Before we wrap up, let's remember why we're doing all this interview prep.
Okay, yeah.
It's not just about getting on a job. It's about finding the right fit, a place where you can really thrive.
That's what it's all about. And that's where RoleCatcher's AI can really make a difference, even beyond interview prep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Their platform looks at your skills, your experience, what you want in a career. And it tries to match you with companies and jobs that fit you.
It's like having a personal headhunter, right?
Exactly.
Working to find you those perfect opportunities.
And remember all those real examples we talked about.
Right, yeah.
The ones that really show off your experience.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher can help you figure out which examples will work best for different jobs.
So smart. It's like having a secret weapon for your job search.
Exactly. It helps you show your best self authentically and confidently.
So, as you start your food technologist journey, remember, preparation meets opportunity. And thanks to RoleCatcher, you're super prepared to ace those interviews and land your dream job.
Go get them. Wow them with your knowledge, your passion, and all those great answers.
And there you have it, another deep dive complete. We hope you're feeling informed, empowered, and maybe even a little hungry for more. The world of food technology is always changing, so never stop learning, exploring, and being curious about what's on your plate and beyond. Until next time, happy food adventures.